Hello and welcome to Globetrotting with Gillespie. Yes, it's me, Dana Gillespie, on a sofa as usual, about to talk to somebody very interesting. Well, we are actually at the book launch of this wonderful book which I have mentioned before, The Portrait of the Tree, and there's one tree in here which is the favourite of the guest sitting next to me. It is Mr. Nick Mason, CBE, the drummer of Pink Floyd. Welcome to Globetrotting. I'm very happy that you can be with us. I want to know, by the way, why you chose the magnolia. Is it just one of your favourites?
Oh, absolutely. It is, of course, in our garden, which gives it...
I'm going to hold it up so viewers can see it. Look at the size of it, said the actress. It's marvellous.
I thought this was a family show.
No. So how does it blossom only one time a year?
Yeah, and for a very short period.
Yeah.
So it was critical that Adrian came up and shot it during, I just think it's probably about 5 days where it really, before the leaves start falling again, or the petals.
I, as a child, used to climb permanently a magnolia tree because I grew up in what was then countryside in Surrey, but I probably is just suburbia now. But I've always loved magnolias. There's something about them, and sometimes you see them with these great purple colours too.
Yeah, they're incredible showy trees. And it's quite interesting in living in Hampstead, because Hampstead is slightly higher than a lot of London.
Yeah.
And so this tends to blossom just that sort of week later.
Because of the temperature change, yes.
Temperature change.
Well, it's such a great book, and of course sales of it are going to help save trees. It hasn't, as far as we know, got any diseases or anything going wrong with it. Magnolias, they're kind of safe at the moment.
We're talking about the tree, not me.
No, because, of course, Adrian Houston, the man who put this book together, is very concerned with, illnesses and global illnesses on our trees. So you've come in today to the book launch because he's a friend of yours.
That's right, yeah.
And, of course, I know that loads of my cousins are going to be here too. But I think I must have seen you years ago in... We're in the Middle 8 restaurant, where I probably saw you in Middle Earth or UFO.
Oh, yes,
or,
absolutely.
We're talking about early 60s or something?
Mid-60s. We actually signed a record deal at the end of 66, I think.
Who were you signed to? Which label?
EMI.
Ooh,
that was
not bad.
The Beatles label at the time.
And was Steve O'Rourke, who was always known as the fifth Pink Floyd, was he from then your manager from the very beginning?
More or less, not quite from the beginning. What happened was we more or less collected everything at the same time, which would have been very early 67.
Yeah.
And we ended up with an agent, a manager, and a record deal. And initially we were managed by two guys, Andrew King, Peter Jenner, who were Blackwell Enterprises, who were really good at seeing what was coming next. I mean, they had us and T-Rex and all sorts of people. And then through them we got an agent, which was Brian Morrison.
Well, yes, of course. But he had offices in Denmark Street, I remember.
It was Charing Cross Road.
Ah, right.
Just round the corner from Denmark
Tin Pan
Street.
Alley.
Yeah.
And that's where I first met Tony Howard and all of those.
Absolutely.
But I'm talking about 63.
Yeah, when they had the Pretty Things.
Right.
With the band.
I remember them. The good old
Great
days.
Band, actually.
Great band. Mind you, I've got to say that Tin Pan Alley, Denmark Street, doesn't look the same anymore. Everything has changed in there. You probably don't walk down these streets anymore.
I do, because I have a drum shop just up the road.
Do
and
you
so
now?
we were looking at Tin Pan Alley or Denmark Street, I think there's a move to try and retain it as a...
Where is the drum shop?
Oh, up at about 200 metres up the road.
What's it called?
Foots.
Oh, it's your thing.
I had to step in and save it, because that's
Save
where
the
I
foot.
bought my first drum kit.
I bought because I started out as a drummer. Mine was in Drum City. Do you
Oh,
remember
yeah,
that?
I
That
remember
was
Drum
Shaftesbury
City.
Avenue.
Yeah.
And there was one time a little advert on the wall saying drum lessons with a man called Frank King.
Yeah.
So I used to go to Frank King, and
Oh,
he
right.
played he played left-handed, so you sat opposite him. It was a mirror image.
Right.
You've heard of Frank King?
Oh yeah, no, I remembered the names because Drum City was slightly later, but there was Foots had been there for years
Yonks,
in Denman Street, and then there was Doc Hunt.
Oh, I remember that. Doc Hunt, wasn't he? He was Archer Street, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Well, that's where Frank King had his lessons, and I used to go. I was the only girl drummer then. It was just at the time when there was a girl band called the Honeycombs with Honey Langtry on the drums, so I was inspired.
There was Honey Langtry. Have I the right?
Have I the right?
No, look what I've done.
Yes, but I mean, Frank King used to take me up to see Buddy Rich all the time because they were friends. And of course, when you see Buddy Rich, I suddenly realised I can never be as good as that. So you guys...
Or as horrid.
What?
Or as horrid.
Well, that's true. There was that famous tape. He was a monster, wasn't he, to his musicians?
I'm sure, if you've seen the movie Whiplash...
I find it very disturbing, actually.
But I think the teacher is based on Buddy Rich.
I actually watched it a second time, Whiplash, and I had to turn away at certain points. What did you feel about it?
Yeah, I found it
terrifying.
It's not really my view of the music business, but then I never went to a proper school.
You've always been... So the Floyd's been running how many years?
50-something.
You never played with any other band?
No, certainly, why bother?
Yeah, that's true.
No, I've really enjoyed working with other musicians, and I've played on sessions, and I did quite a few bits of production over the years, which I like doing, but I think, it's bad enough being in one band. Why try and join any other? But
there's quite a nice thing about a continuity, and you kind of know everything. However, you're doing a new thing. It's not new, but it's coming out again. Tell us about when you're heading off with, and who's in it and everything, and what's it called?
Right, well, it's called Nick Mason's Saucerful of Secrets, and it's really my attempt to go back to work, which I really enjoy, without having to try and separate David and Roger from fighting each other. And what we're doing is playing the really early Pink Floyd catalogue.
Great.
So up to, but not including Dark Side.
Okay.
And it's great fun. And the other band members are Guy Pratt, who I've
who
worked
I
with.
adore. He's great.
He's
Me and My Bass, I think was the name of his book.
My Bass and Other Animals.
Oh, right.
Is the book.
And he's very funny too, and he goes out live and does this thing.
No, he's terrific and really worth. I mean, to have a good bass player, but also someone you'd like to tour with.
Didn't he start with you when he was only about 21? I think he joined
Possibly.
Floyd.
Well, it was about 30 years ago when Roger left.
I think he was only 21. I mean, you've got to bring some new young blood in.
But,
so who else have you got in?
I mean, I just think that just to explain a little bit more about Guy.
Okay.
He has done some extraordinary session work. He's worked with Madonna and with Michael Jackson. So he certainly sort of knows his way around the bass.
And he's been on one of my albums called Methods of Release, and he was great fun to have in the studios with Tim Rennick.
Yes.
Rennick.
Yeah, Tim was with us for, two big tours.
I know. Rennick was a great player. So you've got Gary Kemp.
Gary Kemp,
who's great,
from Spandau Ballet, who extremely passionate about music still, which is a lovely thing.
I only met him when he interviewed me to do with Mick Ronson.
Raconteurs, or was that?
I can't remember. It was something to do with Mick Ronson, who kind of elevated Bowie's music to. More electronic. So who else have you got in there?
Right, well, also Don Beacon, who's with The Orb, which is a sort of, not perhaps, actually, it fits pretty well with what we're doing, but what's nice about it is that he did work with Rick Wright on one of Rick's solo projects, so he's very good on what things should sound like and so on. And Lee Harris, who was with the Blockheads.
Oh, great.
And,
Sex and Drugs and Rock and Roll.
Exactly.
Ian Dury was fabulous, and the Blockheads were great. That was Chaz Jankel as well, wasn't he in the Blockheads?
I can't remember.
Oh, right. I may have got it wrong, but...
No, you may well be right.
So when does the tour kick off?
Well,
And where?
we're hoping that we'll be in America right after Christmas.
And where do you practice? I mean, rehearse. I don't
Well-
mean that you have to practice, but do you rehearse?
we ought to practice. And, we're in a small rehearsal studio at the moment, doing, really reminding ourselves of what we were doing 2 years ago now, because of the whole COVID thing, which just shut us down.
Yeah.
And really trying to add to the repertoire, so that for the people who have seen us and remember seeing us, with the older age group, most of us are on dementia by now.
So you bring in some new numbers. Do you write Do you write yourself?
No, well, I'm credited on a few Floyd things, but I'm not really a writer.
They always say, though, that songwriting is the musician's pension, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you could work out how to fill in your PRS forms, but that's a whole other story. I'm not very.
Yes.
Are you techno? Yeah, you are techno because you fly helicopters and drive amazing cars, don't
Yeah,
you?
whether that helps remember my PRS number, I'm not sure.
Do you have a favourite car at the moment? Because I know you've got loads. Because you used to buy from a guy called David Brimble. Do you remember him?
I remember the
Years
name.
ago. He's been dead for quite a few years now.
Oh, right. There was an actor called Nick Brimble.
Anyway, that's by the by. Do you have a favourite car that, if you have to be your last car that you ever drive, that you'd like to be?
Oh, yeah. I have a particular Ferrari that's quite rare.
Really?
And, I've had it for 40 years.
What colour?
Red.
Of course. Well, actually, I've seen some yellow ones as well.
Yeah,
but
they come. But this was a race car that was run by the factory and then by a Belgian team, and it's just the best all-rounder ever. You can race it, you can rally it. Took my daughters to their weddings in it.
Oh, and the sound. It's the purr. I mean, I've seen Enzo Ferrari trotting round at the Monza racetrack when I was younger. In the days when you could actually be down, in the pits.
Yeah.
Now, of course, nobody's allowed anywhere. But I'm talking about in the early 60s, actually. So that's Ferrari's your favourite. What about helicopters? Or are they all just machinery to move around in?
Oh no. Helicopters are different. They're wonderful things, but I am fairly attached, actually.
Well, I
love machinery. It's so much more reliable than people.
Well, yes, if you know how to work them, which I know you do, because that's one of your loves. And I think it's important in life that man has a passion and follows his passion. And you're lucky enough to be able to do what the hell you like.
Yeah, I mean, there's a drawback in a way that it's probably better to spend more time it's better to spend more time practicing than playing with helicopters, but...
Yeah, but you've got a lovely wife, and I think Hetty was great when I met her. So you've got to send her best wishes from me.
I will.
We're going to go back and join the book launch for the portrait for the tree, and I really want to thank Nick Mason, CBE, for making it onto... So I have to say that.
You're
I think
meant
it's
to
marvellous.
salute, I think, when you say that.
When somebody actually gets honoured for it, I think it's pretty funny and it's pretty cool. And thank you for coming on to Globetrotting with Gillespie.
My
I'll send
pleasure.
you a copy when it's done, because you
Excellent.
probably don't sit and scroll on...
No, I don't very often, so yes, you need to
You have
tell
a
me.
life, basically. Yeah, me too. But I'm told that other people stare at a screen all day. Scream, yes, whatever. Thank you, Nick. Back to the book launch. I'm gonna make my own way. I wanna see fair play. I know just where to start. I'm gonna follow my heart, for it will never let me down. Whatever I do, and every step on the path, it brings me closer to you. I'm gonna dance, I'm gonna dance, I'm gonna dance to the beat of my own drum. I'm gonna dance, I'm gonna dance, I'm gonna dance to the beat of my very own drum. gonna reach my goal, do it with heart and soul. I won't be turning back, 'cause I'm on the right track. For love will always be my guide on life's avenue, and every step on the path, it brings me closer to you. I'm gonna dance, I'm gonna dance, I'm gonna dance to the beat of my own drum. I'm gonna dance, I'm gonna dance, I'm gonna dance to the beat of my very own drum. I'm gonna walk the walk that's been laid out for me. I could hear my inner voice talk, saying you make your own destiny. I'm gonna dance, if the going gets tough and I think I've had enough, I got love to satisfy, 'cause it's do or die. But it will always see me through, right to the end. And yes, it'll see me through